Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of The Letter. We're continuing to work on the house, but we've definitely had some interesting conversations, and we've even given Ash some potential information for this spooky ghost story. But, back to the house. Do people ever have the feeling that they're working on something they really enjoy, but still, it eventually tires them out? Because honestly, I've been feeling like this.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Though moments like these make all the hard work worth it. Definitely.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on a client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation at Mr. Wright's antics and her, I've been burning the candles at both ends. I can't even close my eyes without seeing a dead girl's face. Dead girl. Dead. She's dead. I have to keep reminding myself that. Burying my feelings as deep as they've buried her body, 6 feet under. I shouldn't waste so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've wasted so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad the living are usually as complicated, if not more, than ghosts of the past.
But don't you have a party?
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Yeah, Luke just seems like that kind of guy. It's even more complicated when the living in question is a pair of rich and famous socialites way past their honeymoon phase. And I've been somehow roped into being a relationship counselor.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
Does he, though? Because in your own story, you call him out for being a creep. Well, not out loud, but you know.
But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
That's right, I forgot. This was their own thing and she swapped the roles. I forgot about that. But I mean, Inspector Lee is having problems with Rochelle and vice versa.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I had thought was long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are of some help to me, like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet. Did? Has it? Maybe.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I change that.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't just callously forget about them, too. Saying that I have work left to do is an easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see someone so obsessed with their craft that she would so easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wright's grand housewarming party. Oh, I can't wait. None spare me a glance. Technically none spares, I guess, as I slip past them, each working on their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxburn. I make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. Yeah. But when is a great task ever simple? Probably never. And this is a great task, isn't it? My greatest one yet that is worthy of being called a quest. I'm not acting as Marianne McCulloch, the professional interior designer, when I chose to lie about being too busy for a party. I'm Marianne McCulloch, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma. Just thinking of it like that makes it a bit cheesy. Well, clerics have turn undead, right? This ought to be great. But it helps with the fear. It helps overcome the insane thought that I'm actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find my self-imagined grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought would be a valuable ally?
Schnell! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time!
The butler comes from the cellar and into the kitchen, tailed by a couple of others, people who I assume are most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow, seeing me just standing there by the hatch by the trapdoor. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out for being in the kitchen without permission. But then he motions for the others to disperse and familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing entry into the darkness beyond.
What are you doing here, Fraulein? This is not the place for guests or in an architect right now. I request you leave.
I was just looking around for any last-minute things, yes?
Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about. Now is not the time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something.
The look he gives me as he says this is almost chilling. If life was a game book, he'd probably be the true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. Yeah, that's probably what it'd be. I would say a fighter. Apparently. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity. I guess you also have 8 in charisma and 8 in dexterity too?
Well, I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
Are you sure you have 8 in charisma? Because this is some weak acting here.
Go outside, enjoy the party. Bask in the praise and adulation they will no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you. Surely you've had enough of this stuffy old kitchen by now. You do not want to cause trouble. Both the bratwurst and Hannah want this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and a disrespect to toe out of line and risk it being anything otherwise.
I mean, little does either of us know, but that's already going to go south, and it will not be our fault.
And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failure that happens tonight.
Neither of us knows this, but you won't for this one. His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out. But...
Please, I just lost something the last time I was down there. It's really important.
15 minutes. 9, 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself.
He will too.
The bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
I mean, we could just tell him about the possible secret room, couldn't we? He steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. Man, a lot of things could go wrong here. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lining the wall compared to before, and knowing what might be waiting for me here makes things worse. I almost hope, in a morbid and twisted sense, that Lorraine would just be standing there waiting for me. It would be just like her to joke about inappropriate meeting in the dark, secluded areas. But just like the broken bottles and wine that was spilled on the ground before, no trace of her can be found.
Lorraine! Where are you, Lorraine? I miss you, you know?
Only silence replies. Funny that, when you want to find something, that's the time when you can't. The thought that I wouldn't be able to see Lorraine one last time fills me with such despair. Sure, it was crazy to come here willingly in the first place, but all I'm really looking for is closure. And if I can't see her, the least I can do is offer her a prayer. On the verge of tears, I kneel in the middle of a dark, damp wine cellar and put my hands together in prayer.
May God grant her eternal rest and...
Oh, that is when her laughter fills the air. It rings along the walls until it echoes in my head. And like a siren song, it draws me in before it comes to a stop upon reaching a dead end.
Ooh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage? There must be a hidden switch somewhere. Go look! This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
A secret entrance. Although the idea in and of itself is inane, it only makes this entire endeavor even more perilous, but I need to find a way to open it. Already I'm running my hands against the wall in order to find some sort of hidden switch. It didn't give when I tried to push it open before, and I doubt that would have changed anytime soon. But if there's a door, there's always a way to open it, hopefully without the need to break it down.
A shame I can't roll for perception checks in real life.
True, but if you fail the roll, then it's just over. You don't see something. It's such a silly thing to say out loud, although there is no amusement on my face, and I do check, glancing at the mirror from the study.
Though a sanity check would be more fitting right now, wouldn't it?
I mean, how long have I been down here, searching for the switch of a hidden door? In order to go find a dead girl, no less. I don't know, turn one of the spigots on the casks? Pull a bottle from the thing, like pull the book from the shelf? It isn't only unreasonable, it's insane. At this point, they'll find me clawing at the walls, using my nails to try and see if there are any grooves or catches I might have missed. I'm surprised I haven't gone past the 10 minutes that was given to me, and that I'm not being hauled out of here. Maybe we did, though. I don't know. I don't want to bank on the chance that I have more time, although I know it's... Ugh, I really shouldn't let these kinds of things bother me too much right now. If I don't continue looking, there's no point in me going down there. Dirt and rocks stick underneath my fingernails in my search, but there! A section of the wall, about the size of my palm and just as well hidden as the hollow wall is a switch. Or a button, rather.
Face it, Tigress. You've just hit the jackpot.
Are you a Spider-Man fan as well? The excitement I feel of the discovery finds me pressing it without a second thought. But when a click echoes in the cellar, and the hidden door creaks open, I stop. What should I do? Huh. You know, I'm actually going to save on this one. If we stay, we're missing out on something critical. Maybe we could tell Johannes about it. If we go in, I mean, duh, that's the adventure, but it's also the spooky ghost, almost certainly. I'll stay. It seems so cliché, like a death trap from an old horror movie. It might very well be a dead end down there, hopefully not literally. Though I have no reason to fear for my life, it is hard to think I will be in any way safe if I continue in there. The thought makes a chill run down my spine. Yet nothing is as paralyzing as what I hear next. Get in here! It's distinct and alien, and it's enough to make me look, nervous at what I might see there. Behind me, I only see...
Lorraine! You're here!
I mean, I suppose she doesn't really need me to go in the room to appear, but...
I thought I would never see you again.
I can't even question how in God's name is this possible. Seeing her there fills me with such a strange feeling... of relief? I had told myself I was ready to move on. Yet here I am, ready and willing to just embrace her back again with open arms. Is this going to be that one scene in Berserk in the Eclipse where Carcass embraces that one woman? Because that did not end well. Her beautiful blonde hair, her soft lips with skin so fair, and swaying hips. She laughs, and the smile she sends my way as she walks over makes my chest feel tight. But her eyes are the most beautiful of all.
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
Is this just Johannes again? And he's like, what the hell is this wall doing open?
It's been so long.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
Oh, here we go! It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. Oh yeah? A reflection. A grown woman and a teenager barely past her prime lends a bizarre light to this whole scene. So she reflects that way too, huh?
I
can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
Oh, that's a loaded question. My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. That isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters. Nothing else.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
Then the contract is sealed.
You swear you won't leave me?
Yeah, here we go.
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin in the crook of my neck and I feel her hot breath on my neck, I'm filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surrounded me. My first taste of love. The love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me.
Man, they are really drawing this out.
Or, even better, prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
She presses something in my hand. That's not where I thought this would go. A large glass... Okay. A large glass shard from a wine bottle, cold and sharp. That took a different turn.
You join me.
Is she suggesting that I...
Die for me.
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such a thing?
There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
I'm starting to think I should reload. Oh, god damn! She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. That was way more grisly than I thought. My own hands are weak, as is my will, and I can only bare my neck to do with as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it would lead me to my salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin like a caress until a stinging sensation blooms through my neck. The pain sears and burns like nothing I felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry out and scream, I could only cough as a slick metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is rasp out, calling for her name.
Lorraine.
Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat.
Shush now. It'll be over soon.
Yeah, of course she's the ghost, but like, damn.
Really soon.
There is a moment of doubt as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven. That I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty. But in my final moments, all of that is soon forgotten. My mouth twitches. I can't muster even the smallest of smiles anymore. But I'll be with Lorraine. I've unlocked a memory fragment. I'm gonna reload that though, because whatever happens in the other path, it can't be worse than death, you know? We die the other way. Cool that I get a memory fragment though, but I'm trying to... I don't know, I didn't know it was possible for a playable character to die, so let's go in! No time like the present, eh? What's the worst that could happen? I have to hurry, and I turn around when there's a crash. In my haste, I bumped into the mirror, making it fall to the ground and shatter into 100 pieces. And shit, I hope that isn't an original piece. I don't think my insurance will be able to cover it. I could probably find an imitation to replace it, and... What? Whoa! The door slams shut behind me, and I nearly have a heart attack because of it. Oh boy, we're getting trapped in a dungeon? Okay. Ooh. What's the worst that could happen, I said. But when I see a much more visible lever on this side, I calm down and shake my head. On the other side is a passageway, an underground tunnel that has me mystified for a mere moment until I realize what it holds. Cells closed off by heavy iron bars line the sides. A general sense of death and decay lingers heavy, though the years should have taken away most, if not all, the stench of the foul smell of humans and corpses alike being left to rot. The breeze, most likely coming from the other end of the passage, that goes through is to thank for that. If the place had been enclosed like a mausoleum, I imagine the odor would be fouler than it is now.
Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless these poor souls.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Though the architecture of their time was magnificent, human rights wasn't exactly a big thing back then. And if the Ermengarde mansion had a place like this hidden away, who knows what sorts of heinous acts were done down here. There is no time to dwell on it further, though. Not when a ghastly thing, a corpse of a woman, leans on the wall. Well, at least she's being honest this time. Her arms and limbs, almost every inch of her lithe body, is peppered with wounds and rotting flesh. And it is then that the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here? Oh, that smell. Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
I flinch as the thing twitches. That's terrifying. And as soon as it opens its eyes and looks at me with a smile, there's nothing on my mind but horror. I break into a run. Where the hell is the lever? I try to keep on running, no matter how much my legs and feet scream at me to stop. I keep going, even when I look back and see nothing of her anymore, because I could still hear her. The scampering of her feet, ooh, the words she tries to form with her bloodied mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other as she moves closer and closer to me.
How long are these damn tunnels?
There's a split second where I know that thing is right behind me. A strange sensation creeping over my limbs when her presence looms over me. And then, suddenly, I can't even do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Still, I struggle, up until I'm thrown to the side like some rag doll. I hit the ground on my side, and the musty smell of old hay that reaches me is my only indication that I'm still alive.
Please don't hurt me.
My body hurts, and I keep my eyes shut tight, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne? Are you really afraid of little old me?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me with this. There is no way out. There's a flash of hope. She can help me, save me from that thing. But as I see her smile, the same one that thing had, I know then that this isn't Lorraine. You know what? We're doing better than before. Let's go with this one. I am a fool to think so in the first place. It never could have been her to begin with. I mean, it could have. You know, this person's dead too, right? The real Lorraine is dead. Unlike this ghost? She looms over me, backs me further in the cell that I was thrown in. Ah, so we're gonna have to stay down here. That actually seriously sucks. We're just gonna possibly die down here in a cell, but it leaves the possibility of being saved.
What are you?
What is that thing? Lorraine turns and shifts into that thing from before. And with that same gruesome grin, it takes a step forward towards the cell. Towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door to the cell slams shut and it just stands there, staring. Shouts for help ring out in the tunnels. But none of them are coming from me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. So then, where?
Help me! Oh, help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl?
What? Whose is this, and how does it have battery?
Yeah, but are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here.
Oh.
Don't worry, the owners of this place haven't been here in a long time.
Other brat.
Look at this thing, though. It has writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea. Oh man, that's genius!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's Suarez kid would panic.
Oh, so they've been spreading the letter.
Guys? What? Spit it out! Behind you!
There in the corner of the cell, whoa, a digital camera comes flickering to life and a video has played back on the screen. It was hard to even consider paying any attention to it when my life is on the line. but when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers' mocking shouts of "help me" fill the cell, I just had to watch. I like that the ghost just stands there and lets me watch the video evidence. What the hell is this thing's motivation? Killing for fun? It's really weird. Like, this isn't even vengeance, it's just kind of being a dick, but taking things too far because it's murder. And what I had seen, students, judging by their St. Goretta uniforms, they were holding...
That letter!
And that thing, the woman, she... We're still alive. We changed stories without dying. So far, so good? Well, I guess we're doing Rebecca's story now, so who's left? Just Rebecca and Ash? I just can't believe we could have run into a bad end. Like, damn. I wonder if that means when Zach snuck in the kitchen, when Johannes threw him into the cell or whatever, would we have died by the ghost and I just reloaded before that happened? Because now apparently that's a possibility. Damn. Anyway, Becca time. This is how it begins, or so they say. With a gentle wind drifting through wide-open windows, muffled laughter and footsteps fading behind empty hallways, and the light kiss of the afternoon sun. Soon there will be a call, a crossing of thresholds into the unknown. Maybe we are off to some grand adventure, or diving into another gripping mystery. One can't really tell. For all I know, a hero might even come sweep me off my feet if I'm lucky.
That's not exactly a bad thing when you think about it.
But this is far from one, isn't it? A riveting tale, that is. The mild breeze, the faint murmurs, the warm rays painting every nook and cranny a fiery hue, they are all as real as they can get. As much as I want to write a little tale out of this, I'm far from someone who can. Fleeting fancies, that's what these are. Merely passing thoughts to occupy an idle mind, while waiting for another busy workday to end. Then again, maybe in another life I am one, who knows? But at present, what I have and what I've chosen to be, well...
I won't last years here if I find teaching rowdy adolescents a tedious job, will I?
Admittedly, the whole affair isn't exactly as grand or exciting as I had imagined as a child. If I weren't so stubborn and too passionate about the whole idea, I probably would have quit a long time ago. But it's always the kids that make it worthwhile, isn't it? As if in agreement, as soon as my pen slides into a neat circle against the papers I'm grading, the final bell rings. Like a dam that is open, students begin piling out into the hallway soon after. For a short minute, I let the noise fill my ears, let my mind wander to a place far removed from all the hubbub. Solitary movements like this have come few and far between lately. Even my own home hasn't been as quiet as I usually prefer. Though in hindsight, the entire place hasn't been the same either since Isabella moved in next door. And if her fussing over a minor cold last week tells anything, I might as well throw any idea of solitude out the nearest balcony, so long as she lives nearby. At the memory, my eyes automatically shift over the bottle sitting at the edge of my desk. A chuckle escapes from me as I reach for it.
A little ball of energy and enthusiasm. That big baby.
So this is after the very first scene of this game, I guess. Isabella's already left. Mother Hen, she calls me, and then says and does the same thing right after. It's not that I'm unused to being on the receiving end of other people's worries, or I feel any sort of apprehension over her fretting. If I am to be completely honest, it's actually amusing how someone can be childlike 1 minute, then act like a responsible adult the next. But there's a dissonance there, both in her actions and words. Although she may not look like it, may not say anything, may not lose her cheer, one way or another, I know these troubles have weighed down on her lately. Her face says it all, that big numpty. If she thinks I won't notice, she's got another thing coming for her. That's how she has always been. I do understand that part, loud and clear. It's just that I'd really rather not pass another burden onto her.
Or become one myself.
Aren't I supposed to be the one taking care of them? Though I guess it's simply one of those things people eventually grow away from once you've all started leading different lives. Not completely different, I hope. Somehow the thought makes me feel uneasy. Thankfully, before stranger ideas can take root in my head, a faint buzzing comes from my bag, cutting through the rest of my thoughts. A small frown forms on my lips when the screen lights up and an unknown number flashes. For a long second, my thumb hovers over the answer button. Even the voice that responds once I do accept the call is wholly unfamiliar.
Hello?
Oh, goodness. Finally, it connects.
Huh.
Hello? Is this Miss Gales? Rebecca Gales?
Hannah?
Yes, Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Oh, sorry. Rose Cooper, Briar Realty Corporation.
Oh, that's right, she hasn't run into Hannah at the party yet.
Briar Realty?
My frown deepens as I straighten from my chair. Something in her tone, despite sounding remarkably friendly and light, doesn't sit quite well with me. The rigid pause that follows doesn't help ease the tension that has suddenly descended either.
Miss Cooper?
Yes. Things are a bit busy on my end. I apologize. I'm not certain if Isabella has mentioned anything before, but we're working together on a property at the moment, and...
The Armengard Mansion, yes. She said something about that earlier. Is there a problem?
This is about Isabella, actually.
She wastes no time relaying everything. The details she provided are admittedly a bit vague, but enough for me to get a gist of what happened. It isn't the bad sort I'm expecting, though still worrying, especially with words panic attack and pale looking a bit sickly woven together in one foreboding sentence. But as quickly as it surfaces, I stomp down on the urge to demand answers right there and then. That's right, because Isabella talked to us, but then we had class, so it's been at least one class period since Isabella has left, so I guess the mansion stuff has gone down. Now isn't the proper time for useless questions. I'll find out soon enough regardless. To Miss Cooper's credit, she neither hesitates nor falters all throughout. There's some sort of comfort in knowing Isabella has someone like her to guide her, though not as much as I would have liked. After all, this is Isabella we're talking about. What are the chances she just said a bunch of excuses so she won't get sent home? High. Very high. Oh, she is so going to hear it this time.
You were listed as one of her emergency contacts, so I thought it'd be best you know about this.
How is she? Is she doing okay?
I had her take a break for now, but honestly, I'd feel better if someone would pick her up and take her home for some rest. Anthem's a fair distance from Luxbourne. I really don't want her going off on her own. I'd do it myself, but oh, you know how it is today. Big day. People everywhere until the open house ends. I'm really sorry to ask this of you, Miss Gales. I know you're busy.
Well, the final bell just rang. This is perfect timing.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just about to leave from work. I hope to leave early today anyway. A few minutes ahead wouldn't hurt. I can be there in a few, 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right?
More than fine, Miss Gales, thank you. We're supposed to be here until... Oh, excuse me. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
The faint hum of conversation echoes from her end. It sounds as though the place is buzzing with more people than you'll expect from a regular open house. I was skeptical at first. The house is old, not to mention its inconvenient location in Luxbourne's outskirts. Who wants to live in a place almost an hour's drive away from the comforts of a city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about this sale. If I didn't understand why she was so adamant refusing my offer of help before, I think I do now. To some degree.
We'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I really need to get this thing going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. They can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be.
Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of our staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here.
That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ends on a surprisingly pleasant note. If only the same could be said for the news she brought. I allow a brief minute to pass to ease whatever tension has lashed itself firmly to my nerves. But no matter how much I wish for it, my mind stubbornly refuses to do so. My hands are unsteady against the papers I pretend to arrange after. Lucid thoughts, every single ounce of it, grimmer than the other, grows with each passing second I linger. Something about this whole thing, along with a sudden unease and nagging worry, screams off. Wrong. This isn't the riveting tale I've hoped to step into today. Even in a rush, getting everything in order before leaving takes nearly a good quarter hour. Wow, we get to see a little more of the high school. But for now, it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? We finished Marianne's chapter, one way or another. Damn. I mean, the way we went, she's trapped in a cell and hopefully can be saved. I'd really feel bad if she couldn't, because that's just depressing. But the other way, though, This game has made the ghost look pretty gross with the close-ups of its feet. You know, the skin is missing, you can see some of the bone in there, it's kind of gross. But the game hasn't really shown much in the way of violence. There's been a pool of blood or something, help me written in blood, you can kind of make out a dead body, but it's never been really grisly. I gotta say, I had to look away from that throat-cutting scene. That was a much deeper cut than I thought it would depict. That really threw me for a loop. And now we know that a player character can absolutely get killed. This is not a guaranteed safe visual novel. We have to try to survive. I guess we'll see where this takes us. Becca hasn't really gotten to the adventure yet, but you know it's coming sooner or later. Until next time, everyone.